Oh, damn. Almost. Oh, forget it. What's up? Let's get it popping. Oh, that's the wrong album. I'm tripping.
I've been bout my papyrus since I've been in it. Put me in a debate, you know I'm gon' win it. If I scream black power, don't get timid. If I say black city, I'm talking about Kemet. If I say black city, I'm talking about Kemet. Primary research and we done pushed it to the limits. All you dudes finished. The king counting cattle up with brother Reggie. When I'm in Oakland, smoke spoken, brother, they love the Chevy. Back in the day, it was the spokes on the chariot. Long procession when the king got carried out to every spot. Woman looking nice as ISIS. I read ancient texts, so my advice is priceless. Nubian gold, your ice don't entice us. Beating me harder than counting grains in your spices. Your heart was beating, but your brain dead. You're lifeless. Yo, they ain't nothing like us, yo. Don't try to make me mad. Make me smile and say you love me, man. That's real right there. Come on. You should listen to your main man's advice. Do a YouTube and apologize like Dice. Or the back fade coming like the Antichrist. Egyptologists see me reading and said that I'm nice. I got a speller with your name on it. I'm like Sargon. You the type of dude wake up in your car gone. Told, cause of the money you owe. Before you stream, you should clean up that humble abode. Like Akhenaten City for my woman in gold. I keep the pseudos running, people coming in droves. You catch me on a live stream with Pan-African James. When we building, call us by our African names. I'm for the children. It ain't nothing happened to change. We on that black hype, so we still packing them things for protection. Got connection. My complexion, pure black, that's the essence. Make me smile. You love me? Show me some love. Alright.
Yeah, we in the building. We out. What's up? Let me get on the play one more tune real quick. And we can get right into it. I'm gonna go to this other part. I'm going back old school on like this.
Hip-hop shit. You feel me? Yeah. New part-time that Aunt Kemperu, I'm in a tep my try never cock him. Hotel. Never I buy up a new session. I'm in rock. Say my heart is happy. Never I buy up a new session. I'm in rock. That I write for God. Never I buy up a new session. I'm in rock. They say my heart is happy. And I praise God every day. I'm in rock. To a rock. A new Tefek. Earth to honor the Aunt Kemperu, my try. I'm in a tef, never cock him. Rena, M. Shenu, Pasa Rod, Nasu Biddy. He too witty, never menta. Aunt Kemperu, Susan at the root, to a raw side. Jedi, Madu, Natir, Nafir. Yeah, Jedi, Ray and Kim, Nafir. Heard him, my mentor, Sayana Saru. Neb Key Ray, my Akaru. Directly to the center of the cipher of the soul. I don't really know how to say that though. It go Aria, Heru, Wet Wawet, Masar, Ra, Harakti, Ta Ankh, my Ankh Jet, Tuara, Neb Heru, Jedi, Ankh Keperu, Tuara, M Jet, Ankh Wasaneb, Tuara, Neb, Gert, Newton, Gib, Tuara, M Dahudi, and my Saneb, Anouk Nefer, Earth Netta. Never I buy up a new session. I'm in rock. Say my heart is happy. Never I buy up a new session. I'm in rock. That I write for God. You know what I mean? Never I buy up a new session. I'm in rock. They say my heart is happy. And I praise God every day. I'm in rock. To a rock.
You can bump that right off Bandcamp. That's on the album, the Hierophant. That was a 2011 release. So if you don't know, it be stuff out in the cuts. What's up, though? How y'all doing? Peace to everybody. I was looking at the crypto market. A lot of red all over the place. Right. I went and looked to see what the price of Trump little coin, what, $27. I feel sorry for the people who bought that over these prices. It went up good, went down good. Boop, 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 bit. So what is this man doing, though? Let me see. I seen somebody did a video that was like, people think DEI means black people. People mean, I don't know if that's a perfect day to buy, but I hear you though, RTP. People think DEI means black people was the name of the video or whatever. That's what their point was. Shout out to Babylon Don. I'm glad you asked. I guess we should get on some teachings. I just ain't been on that. I don't be trying to kill people with force nothing on people, but if people looking for that content, I'm happy we could get on that. Just been trying to grow my page by talking about more various topics, you know. But as far as this Trump being the president, and not just his attack on diversity, equity, inclusion, we already see for some reason he wanna. I don't know about saying something like an executive order to stop civil rights. But a lot of the accomplishments and achievements made by the civil rights movement, right? A lot of accomplishments and achievements made by the civil rights movement are being encroached upon. Shout out for Pharaoh saying definitely ready for a good class. I might come back after that. I might do a 30-minute stream right here and come back. We come back, go over some text. It ain't too many places to do that on the internet. So I like having my place be my, channel being one of those places. But how much exactly do that mean? Well, just say this. Remember how we was just going into sam.gov or what have you, and we were looking at government contracts, and there were specific sections for disenfranchised people. Those sections getting taken away. Like, when it's like a grant for African Americans, that's supposed to be over. Tell me, am I wrong? Am I wrong? I hope I'm wrong. But am I wrong about that? And then with the Project 2025 thing that he said he knew nothing about, he came out with all the talking points of it. Straight out the gate. I don't want to click nothing that's going to flag my page. But I wanted to get some information. Only section is, yep, Monica Lamb said I'm right. The only section is save contracts for veteran performance and blind shops. So now you got to compete against Elon Musk. Now you got to compete against Elon. Nah, all right, I ain't holding that Trump coin no more. I got in and got out. I got in on the first day. I heard about it at 9 in the morning, and it was already moving. It was the first day I mentioned it. It probably just got back to that price a couple days ago. But I'm not messing with that right now. That hype, I mean, I can't long that. How about all of our federal workers that's about to get kicked up out their job? Somebody said we need to talk about us keeping our rights. Okay, what rights exactly? You know what I'm saying? Like gun rights? What rights? And a lot of this stuff with Elon Musk and all of this, they talk about the salute and who we might be down with. I think that's a lot of truth to that, bro. I don't think that's just internet conspiracies. He did the thing right in front of us, the salute right in front of us. So they trying to do everything the conspiracy theorists. Civil rights, I understand. I understand RP. But so you saying you think it's gonna be like this is a whites only restaurant. It's totally cool to do that now. All right, thank you, Monica Lamb. Yeah, I just had one of these papers open, but it was a different one from the White House. We really know what he's doing. Yet today, roughly 60 years after the passage of Civil Rights Acts 1964, critical and influential institutions of American society, including the federal government, major corporations, financial institutions, the medical industry, large commercial airlines, law enforcement agencies, and institutions of higher education have adopted and actively used dangerous, demeaning, and immoral race, sex-based preference under the guise of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion, or diversity, equity, and inclusion and accessibility that can violate the civil rights laws of the nation. Okay. So you see how they play that game? In which way do it violate the civil rights laws? Is it saying that he's saying it's encroaching on the civil rights of white people? That's ultimately what he's saying, if not saying in that section. Illegal DEI and DEIA policies do not violate the Texan spirit. Not only violate the Texan spirit of our longstanding federal civil rights laws, they also undermine our nation's unity, our national unity, as they deny, discredit, and undermine the traditional American values of hard work. Sometimes you could just read and see what he's saying. As they deny, discredit, and undermine the traditional American. You could have stopped right there. But they got to play it off, so they add more to the sentence. As they deny, discredit, and undermine the traditional American values of work, excellence, and individual achievements in favor of unlawful, corrosive, and pernicious, whatever that is. Pernicious? I don't know that word. Let me see it. Pernicious? I might learn a new word today.
Pernicious.
Pernicious, not pernicious.
Pernicious.
Pernicious. Oh, this is shus. I'm tripping. Why I say sius? Pernicious.
Pernicious.
Having a harmful effect, especially in a gradual or a subtle way. Pernicious identity-based spoil system. Hardworking Americans. Oh, so that's who you're concerned about. Y'all really think Trump concerned about hardworking Americans? When did he work hard enough to get that concern? Hardworking Americans who deserve a shot at the American dream should not be stigmatized, demeaned, or shut out of opportunities because of their race or sex. These illegal DEI and DEIA policies also threaten the safety of American men, women, and children across the nation by diminishing the importance of individual merits, aptitude, hard work, and determination when selecting people for jobs and services in key sectors of American society, including all levels of government and the medical, aviation, and law enforcement communities. Yet in case, wait a minute. Yet in case after tragic case, the American people have witnessed firsthand the disastrous consequences of illegal, pernicious, did I say it right? Whatever, discrimination that has prioritized how people were born instead of what they are capable of doing. This sounds crazy to me. It sounds like the biggest spin I've seen on discrimination and injustice yet. If somebody said, hey, all right, let's do a workshop and put the spin on racism. Let's put the spin on discrimination. We come up with something like this. Meaning flip it up and let's use it for our own benefit. I'm going to keep reading. The federal government is charged with enforcing our civil rights laws. The purpose of this order is to ensure that it does so by ending illegal preferences and discrimination. Section 2 policy is the policy of the United States to protect the civil rights of all Americans and to promote individual initiative, excellence, and hard work. I therefore order all executive departments and agencies to terminate all discriminatory and illegal preferences, mandates, policies, programs, activities, guidance, regulations, enforcement actions, consent orders, and requirements. I further order the agencies to enforce our long-standing civil rights laws to combat the illegal private sector DEI preferences, mandates, policies, programs, and activities. Man, he like, it's over. Terminating illegal discrimination in federal government. The following executive actions have hereby been revoked. Wait a minute, are hereby revoked. So he taking away this. Now listen. Executive Order 1289-8 on February 11, 1994 is a federal action to address environmental justice in minority populations and low-income populations. So you want to take away federal actions to address environmental injustice in minority populations and low-income houses because that discriminate on who? Wait, whose rights does the Executive Order 12898 federal action to address environmental justice? Environmental justice. Let's read this and see why he would want to take it away. Let's do a deep dive real quick. I ain't going to go that deep. I'm just saying, let's do how we always do. So this is what he wanted to take away. The summary of executive order of federal actions to address environmental justice in minority populations and low income populations. Executive Order 12898, federal action to address environmental justice in minority populations and low income populations, was issued by President William J. Clinton, in 1994. Its purpose is to focus federal attention on the environmental and human health effects of federal action. So you don't want to focus federal attention. Basically, he thinks it's an injustice towards white people or the American man, as he says, to focus federal attention on the environmental and human health effects of federal actions on minority and low income populations with the goal of achieving environmental protections for all communities. So you want to take that away, huh? You don't need to know about no damn environmental health effects. That's not fair to the white man. How you just looking at environmental health effects in low income communities? You already know ain't none in the rich communities because they in the best areas. So how did this? Yeah, Executive Order 12898 directs federal agents to identify and address the disproportionate or the disproportionately the disproportionately high and adverse human effects. Or so they don't want you to, okay, he did this for his drug buddies. I mean his like medical. Identify and address the disproportionately high and adverse human health or environmental effect of their actions on minority and low income populations to the greatest extent practicable and permitted by law. Excuse me. Develop a strategy for implementing environmental justice, promote non-discrimination. So they're supposed to develop a strategy for implementing environmental justice. He said, scratch that strategy. It's stupid. Why you want environmental justice? Promote. I mean, we can ask ourselves what is environmental justice. Maybe living next to a facility that's making your whole family catch cancer. All right, I'm gonna drop the link, but that's only for Sister Lamb because I ain't really trying to do that real quick. Let me see. But I'm dropping the link for Sister Monica Lamb. Let me see. Monica. Excuse me. Let me see. Yeah, but she gonna break it all down for us. But don't nobody else need to trip off the link right now. I'm gonna come back with another show where we can all just chat and chill or whatever if y'all want to. All right, here go the link. Please do. I appreciate you. Come share that knowledge with us. And I'm gonna kick back and listen as we read over some of this. The next one was Executive Order 13583, August 18, 2011, establishing a coordinated government-wide initiative to promote diversity and inclusion in the federal workforce. All right, go on and throw that out. Because it came out 2011. I know what they're doing. The fix was in with that. Peace, Sister Lamb. How you doing?
Hey, good morning.
All right.
Put my birthday.
I want you to give us some of that information about exactly what we're. You see where we at. Maybe you can shed the light on some of the things we're looking over.
Okay, yeah, I want to share something real quick. Ah. Because it's funny. Listen, it's funny you on the EPA part because I'm actually getting ready to submit a grant for it real quick, real quick.
Huh.
So you get ready to go inside? Hold on, Smash. Huh?
Huh?
I gotta do something real quick on the phone. You better go in. Go ahead. No, go ahead. So this particular executive order that I wanted you to pull up, as it relates to the grants and the government contracting. So one, the first, they redefined the civil rights as you read for it to be to appeal to merit and performance based. And we know merit deals with quality, knowledge, and abilities. So we always say knowledge, skills, and abilities, right? So
Uh,
that's one. Um, and how are they going to qualify that? One way they're going to qualify it is going to be education, as we know. So where you go to school, where you get your schooling from. Two, your experience. So it's going to be super important for us to build our own past performance, into enter into contractual services with our own businesses to build that past performance. And then three, you're just gonna have to keep your education up or your certifications or whatever they're finding that's applicable to say that you're qualified. So that's the first part. And also if you stroll down on that executive order in section 7, the only group or the only preference category that was saved were veterans and the blind. So the blind has the opportunity to put in, the commission of the visually impaired has opportunity to uphold shops specifically for them, right? So if you go all the way down to section 7, yeah, you will see it right there where it says, this order does not apply to to the lawful federal or private sector employment and contracting preferences for veterans in the U.S. Armed Forces or persons protected by the Randolph Shepherd Act 20, USC 707. And that Randolph Act is for the blind. You'll see if you open it up. And then the second portion, the part that you were on before I came on, as it relates to environmental justice. So what happened in the Biden administration, they pushed out a lot of money into environmental justice for disadvantaged communities, but that funding came out in sub grants and it had divided. Can you pass? Ah, I'm sorry. Come on. And it
can I
had
ask a quick
divided.
question real quick?
Oh, go ahead.
In
Mhm.
environmental justice, in some sense, like community renovation and stuff like that.
Yes, and it's related to air and water quality. So when you talk about renovations, we're talking about improving the indoor air quality, right? So when you look at it, you got to look at it from those standpoints. And what does that look like? That's your HVAC units, your installation, your air filters, that kind of stuff, right? Matter of fact, that's what I'm writing my grant on right now. So the U.S., if you looked up EPA grant makers grant or thriving community grant makers grant, you will see that the U.S. was divided into 11 regions and they pushed out sub grants so that um smaller nonprofits are able to apply for these federal grants without having to submit a lot of paperwork like they would on a regular grant. And so billions of dollars was pushed out in that program. And so and that program was broken out by non-competitive grant of 75,000 for you to do capacity building, um um assessments, meaning that you can do surveys, water testing, monitoring, education to the youth, uh, environmental awareness. The second part is planning, meaning you're trying to put a project together as it relates to environmental issues. And the third was development, meaning you already have a project and you want to enhance it. Very easy to get. And so when you look at the categories of those grants, when you think of environmental justice, you want to think of it of hazards and disasters. And then you want to look at something that you're doing, and all you gotta do is just use Chat GPT on one of those AI systems and say, hey, give me like for example, I was doing housing repairs, but I don't refer to it as housing repairs no more. I refer to it as indoor air quality upgrades. Right?
Uh,
So if you put in environmental and health issues as it relates to housing repairs. It will give you a whole list of things that you can do. So what I did was I changed from saying I'm going in and repair roofs, windows, floors, changing our HVACs. I changed that to say I'm upgrading to help with the air quality of homeowners 62 years old and older. And I'm going to change out installations, HVAC units. You see the difference?
Mm-hmm.
So now I would qualify for an EPA grant. And so the reason they specifically point out that because there's a lot of money that got pushed out. Now, the problem is that unless that money has already been obligated, they're pulling it back. So we were on the nuclear grant program and we were getting ready to get another qualifier of that grant. And they just told us that we wouldn't be able to because they've already pulled their money back. Right. So I just wanted to share just a little light on some of the information.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So for the simple question, the categories like grants, federal grants for African Americans, that's about to disappear.
Oh, if it's specific, and yeah, if it's a specific preference, they're going. So the email we got for our government contracts that came out from GSA, that it said anything that has a preference that includes a category or equity, diversity, inclusion, anything that has any specifics to it, it will either get renegotiated, it would get terminated, or it would get reduced. And a lot of people have already starting to see, and they're not starting from the effective date of the executive order and going forward. They're actual retroacting back to when it actually existed.
Oh, that's right. So they're gonna make
Oh,
people
that
owe money, huh?
not necessarily owe it. They just gonna stop and cease. It's like stop and cease, right? So wherever you at now, that's a wrap. They've already started doing that. They've shifting through. Like I said, the only reason we're not affected because all of our contracts right now are under veteran preference. So yeah.
Interesting.
And that particular, so everybody's looking at the actual executive order under the where it speaks about civil rights, but they're ignoring the one that I just showed you because that people are saying, well, what's going to be the new civil rights? They just told you hard work, um excellent performance, la da da da. So it puts everybody on an even playing field. So then you have to ask the question, okay, well then how do I get on that playing field? You're gonna have to train the trainer, baby. If you don't know, you better find somebody who do.
So isn't this what the nation said it was based on at first though? Like before civil rights, they was acting like it was meritorious, but everything just went to white people.
Exactly. Now, where you need to go is to Reconstruction. Remember, before the first Reconstruction bill, we were the contractors who was getting most of the work because of the skill set, because of coming out of being enslaved and having to do that work already. We were already skilled, and so we were getting the abundance of the work. And then when the Reconstruction act came in, the first one came in, they started making us get well, they started adding you have to have this license, that license. So they start weeding you out by putting regulatory requirements on there. So um it puts us back on an even playing field. The problem is for us, the category pieces, what they was trying to do was say, hey, even though we all on the same playing field, we're still not getting the opportunity. So that's when they started doing all these set asides indicators. But if you look at the numbers, the statistics, we don't look like we favor it because they was keeping us out. It's and then you talk about human biases, right? You still have to deal with the person who's in charge of the contract.
Well, let me ask you this. They was keeping us out of the opportunities that was set aside for African Americans. Are you saying you talking about Reconstruction
Yeah.
period? I'm sorry, still. Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Yo,
I
no.
got you.
I'm
I
talking
got you.
about now.
Okay.
I'm
So
talking
yeah, well,
I'm
well let me rephrase my question. When you said
right.
because they was keeping us out, but
Right.
they was keeping us out even though there were categories set aside for African Americans.
Yes, because here's what happens, right? Okay, you brought up Sam's earlier, right?
Yeah.
So they created a certification for each of those categories, local, state, and federal government, to include the feds having the SBA and the 8A program, right? You got the DBE, the MBE, the SBE, WE, all these EBs, right, out there. So what our companies were not doing was becoming certified to meet that qualification. And then what happens is the second tier of that is that they would get prime. You, by the time you got your stuff together, or based on the dollar amount of the project, they would make it so high that you either one didn't have the insurance, two, you didn't have the bonding, or three, you didn't have the financial capacity, right? And so some prime contractor would come in, whether it was one of us or somebody else, right? And then they say, okay, well, since you're still losing out because you're socially disadvantaged, we got it. But now you're economically disadvantaged. So what they did is say, okay, then now 20 to 30% of those contracts has to go to minority, woman-owned, veteran, that kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with that, they say, okay, we'll bring them on. They will bring you on, and then they would drop you after 2 or 3 months.
Mm.
So the only way we survived is because we started focusing more on the veteran side, because we would because all and then with those same contracts, you have to have at least two companies that, in order for that contractor to bid it out for that set aside, you had to have at least two companies that are bidding on that. So what they started doing, what they call is sourcing. They started doing market research, right?
Mm.
Well, if those companies didn't submit a source proposal, guess what that does?
Well,
They say, we did our part. We did community engagement. We went out, we sought out those companies. They didn't apply, so we go on open market. Man, I
oh,
could talk
okay.
about
And
this
they
for
do this
days.
outreach reach probably in some peculiar places where the community don't even
Nope.
know. I
No,
was
I would.
driving just through my hood and seen a long ass line.
Listen.
And I'm like, this line is too long, you know what I'm saying, for me not to know what's going on here. So I
But
just asked somebody, what's going
mhm.
on here? But it's kind of, they was like, oh, it's not exactly what you're talking about, but it's kind of like how stuff be hidden. It was some job fair hiring in the cut, but they was hiring on the spot. And so this is why everybody was in this line, but the line didn't really have no black people in it at all, and it was
Yeah.
all in the cut. I just came across it, so I don't know how um, these are still placed with access on the websites. So how do we? But other than what you just told me, were there other ways they were keeping people from accessing this stuff?
So I would not say that they're keeping it from you. I would say that we are not participating in the spaces where the information is given. I.e., example, associations, minority business association, chambers of commerce, black chambers of commerce, scores, apex, ptax, your city business opportunity offers. They offer SBA, they offer events all the time. We just don't go. Now, one of the dilemmas that we have is that they offer them during a workday.
I don't never hear about it. You tapped in and you in the
I
community.
know.
Where could the average person hear about these things?
Go if you Google, you could, well, now you got Chat GPT. You could put in Chat GPT, give me business opportunity workshops in my area. Man, I'ma love to build with you more on it, but I gotta get my grant in today.
Okay, great. Yeah, I know you said you
But I'm
only
gonna
had a
come
little
back.
bit of time, so thanks for chiming in,
Yeah,
and we
I'll come
appreciate
back.
all the knowledge.
All right, yes,
Come back
sir. You
soon whenever we
I
talk. All right.
sure will. All right,
Thank
bye-bye.
you. Have a good day. That was informative, very informative. Sister Monica Lamb, shout out to her. Yeah, and so it is true what she's saying. We don't deal with a lot of these agencies where they come out and try to reach these certain communities. But it appears some of this is going to be ended now. Number 3 was Executive Order 13672 from July 21st, 2014. Further amendments to Executive Order 1147A, equal employment opportunity in the federal government, and Executive Order 1124-6, equal employment opportunity. So he terminated equal employment opportunity, bruh. Like, what's to terminate about that? People shouldn't be just having equal employment opportunities. You should be able to do what you want. It's like a little kid almost who don't want no rules. Number 5 being the presidential memorandum. Oh, I'm sorry. Number 4 being the presidential memorandum of October the 5th, 2016, promoting diversity and inclusion in the national security workforce. Since diversity and inclusion has become a catchphrase that means a particular type of movement, it's just kind of like when Black Lives Matter became an organization and not just a statement. At that point, you start asking, is you down with something that you know you down with? But you, just because it's an organization, you like, oh, am I down with that though? The federal contracting process shall be streamlined to enhance speed and efficiency, reduce costs, and require federal contracts and subcontractors to comply with our civil rights laws. I'm gonna do this stream for about an hour, and hopefully, I'm gonna come back with talking about ancient Medu Neter or whatever, just to let you know. But accordingly, Executive Order 11246 of September 24, 1965, Equal Opportunity Employment, is hereby revoked. For 90 days from the date of this order, federal contractors may continue to comply with the regulatory scheme in effect on January 2025. In effect on January 20th, 2025. The Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs within the Department of Labor shall immediately cease promoting diversity. Immediately cease with this promoting diversity. Holding federal contracts and subcontractors responsible for taking affirmative action. So if they take affirmative action, they about to be in trouble. Oh, hold on. Let me go back. Did it say equity someplace that I said equality? Babylon? I know the difference between equity and equality. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. But I didn't say the word equality there. It might have been a place where I messed up and you caught it. If I misspoke, thanks for correcting it. But you know I know the difference between them two. Let me see. I must have said something. I don't know. I can't think about what I said that encouraged that comment. Yeah. Yeah, we know the difference between equality and equity. Um, so let me see. What else? So that last one was crazy. So he ordered them to stop promoting diversity, holding federal contractors and subcontractors responsible for taking affirmative action. So, oh, you took affirmative action? We gonna hold you responsible. Damn, that's kind of like crazy. That mean like, I mean, that's really crazy. But you know, I ain't never got nothing off affirmative action. What have y'all got off affirmative action? C says allowing or encouraging federal contractors and subcontractors to engage in workforce balancing based on race, color, sex, sexual preference, religion, or national origin. Y'all gotta stop allowing or encouraging federal contractors and subcontractors to engage in workforce balancing, yo. Who want to balance the workforce? That's messing up America. In accordance to Executive Order 279 from December 12, 2002, equal protection of laws for faith-based community organizations. So throw out that equal protection of the law stuff, man. That stuff is dead. The employment, procurement, and contracting practices of federal contractors and subcontractors should not consider race, sex, preference, religion, national origin in a way that violates the nation's civil rights laws. All right, man. We already skipped down to number 7. There's a lot more in here that you could read if you want to, right? But I'm getting my readership up. I don't feel like it that much. And I'm almost at the end of the stream. I'm going to come back with another one. Thanks for watching the channel. Thanks for tapping in. You know what? I did want to just, because my channel, I look at my channel like I say all the time. It's the Smash Rockwell channel. It ain't necessarily the Ancient Egyptian channel. Or it ain't even the Black Consciousness channel. It's just a lot of the things that I'm into. So I like having a section on my channel where I'm gaming and stuff. And people can look at other stuff like that. But the fact that my channel sends out notifications to people who only really want that one type of content, that's the only reason why I said I'm going to start just doing that on Twitch or whatever, just for the fun of it. So I started the Twitch as Casual Rap Guy. And, you know, when I do that other stuff over there, I do intend on building hella different YouTube channels for different topics. But, you know, I got to do that in the order of time because I got to have the time to dedicate to all these other channels. People was asking what happened to Sonetta channel, but he just streamed from it the other day. Sometimes he just opened it up. Sometimes he just opened up the channel. I'm going to share the link in the next stream. Sometimes he just open up the channels, do a video. I think he'd be closing it down because it was under attack. But thank y'all for tapping in. Thanks for all the support to the channel. And come back. We'll be right back in a minute with another stream, I presume.